Hi, my name is Helen. I'm with Arizona Raft Adventures. And the goal of this video is to get you ready for your river trip. We want you to be able to sleep that night before you go. The guides are going to go over life on the river. So, some of the most important things you need to know are about your bags. So I have the first bag here is your white bag, your day bag. Some people call it their carry-on bag. This is the bag you're going to have on the boat with you. Do you see how large this is? This bag will have everything you need on the river during the day. Just like when you're on a flight coming to Flagstaff to get on your river trip, you have a carry-on bag. This carry-on bag has everything you need to get to your final destination. And just note here on the outside, we have these 4-inch rated locking carabiners. Now in your paperwork we say that mandatory you need to have one of these. I personally prefer to have two because I use one to lock the bag on the boat and the other one for 2 of my water bottles. I don't like to futz with the water bottles and the locking mechanism. We'll go over what to put in your white bag in the video How to Pack for Your River Trip. The other bag you have is your blue bag or your check bag. Just like I have a carry-on bag, that one's on the boat with me. This blue bag, I will pack up and give it to the river guides when we get to Lee's Ferry. And we won't have access to this until we get to our final destination. Then the sleep kit. This is already at Lee's Ferry waiting for you when you get to camp that first night. And in here we have a liner, a tarp, and a sleeping bag. You also have another bag. It's called the burlap bag or the fun drink bag. And that's where you'll put your beer, your soda, or your sparkling water. Also on the boats are your tents. And here's a sample of what those tents look like. I think of these as the Taj Mahal of camping. Also you will have your mug. This is, for you, it's a keepsake mug, but it's also very functional because every morning you're going to be woken to the smell of coffee being made. And your guides will let you know the coffee is available. You also have hot water for tea and also orange juice. So you want to take this mug with you, and usually we keep this mug in our blue bags. We don't use it during the day. We also provide gruvettes, or some people call them pea cups, because about 25,000 people a year go down the Colorado River, and those beaches and camps are pristine because, believe it or not, all of your urine goes in the Colorado River. And when you're at camp, you might be camped far away from everybody else and far away from the river, and you might need to get up in the middle of the night from all the water you're drinking. So we provide this bottle, this pea cup. You can use this at night, and then it's quite funny in the morning. Everybody's walking down with their full pea cups and their empty coffee cups, and they dump this in the river and then fill up their coffee and prepare for camp and breakfast. We also give you a guidebook. I really like the guidebook. It's got flora and fauna and history and geology, and it also has a mile-by-mile guide of your trip. A lot of us like to use it as a trip journal. We like to write things of note, and also because we like to know what's going on ahead of us. Some of you might have hiking poles. Hiking poles aren't used on all of the hikes, but if you're more comfortable with them, you should bring them with you. You do not need to put these in any of your bags. And then electronics. Really think about if you want to bring your expensive electronics down to a place that's sand and sun and water. And remember, there's no charging station, there's no Wi-Fi, and there's no cell service. So if you do decide to take your electronics, you need to use them discreetly and really keep them protected. Some of you also may want to fish. And if you decide you want to fish, you need to get an Arizona fishing license, and your fishing pole should be collapsible. Many of you are driving to the hotel or to Flagstaff in your own personal vehicle or in a rental car. You are able to leave your vehicle at the Little America Hotel, but we also suggest that you not leave any of your valuables inside your car. Not that we've had any problems, but it's always better to leave them with us. Azra has a secure room for your luggage. You will use this red tag that will be attached to your personal luggage. It will be stored at the Little America until that time. It'll be driven up to the South Rim and stored at the Maswick Bellman's Closet for your hike out. When you come down in the morning to meet your orientation host, you need to have your backpack along with your other bags, and you need to have it empty. Your guides will take it at Lee's Ferry and make it available to you the night before your hike. Okay, the thing you really want to know. The morning of your river trip, we need you to be ready for the river, dressed for the river, and meet us downstairs at the hotel at 6 a.m. You need to bring everything with you. Your white bag, your burlap bag, your blue bag, the luggage that you're going to leave with us, your hiking poles, your fishing poles. You'll meet your orientation host, and they will ensure that your bags are sealed properly. So if you are having any problems with your bags, ask your host for help. At that time, you will have breakfast. The Little America Hotel has a great buffet, and if you prefer that you don't want that kind of a breakfast, you can get items at the travel center that's adjacent to the Little America Hotel. You'll meet your orientation host at 6:30, so only 30 minutes for breakfast. You'll help load up the bus, and if all goes as planned, you're on your way for your river trip by 6:45 a.m. You do have a 3-hour bus ride, and there'll be 2 stops, what we call comfort stops, for you along the way. Next, we want to talk about food and hydration. You're going to be on an active vacation, not one that you are going to be thinking about losing weight on. So the best thing you can do for your personal health and the enjoyment of your trip is to eat and drink, and eat and drink and eat and drink. The things that you need to be considerate of, and your guides will talk about, there's symptoms of dehydration, which is, as you know, is lack of water. There's also hyponatremia, which people drink too much water and don't eat enough. And there's also some other things that the guides will be keeping an eye out. And the best thing you can do to not have to worry about any of that is to eat and drink. Lucky for us, not only do the guides provide a fantastic breakfast, lunch, and dinner, they also have snacks. You can eat snacks all day long. You also have water and electrolytes all day long. And if you're not feeling well, talk to the guides. Or if you see someone else that looks like they're having a hard time or not feeling well, please let the guides know right away. And some of you might have food that you want to bring on the trip in addition to the food that we provide. Please make sure that you give it to the guides when you get to Lee's Ferry, as we don't want that in your personal bags. We also want to talk about skincare. You're out here in the sun and the wind and the sand. It's really important to take care of your skin, cover up, put sunblock on every 2 to 3 hours on any exposed skin. And then one thing that we also recommend is putting lotion or salve on your hands and feet, especially at night. You clean your hands and your feet, and then you put some lotion and salve on. You don't want to get those little cracks that you can get on your fingers and toes and heels. It makes for a rough few days on the river, and you can prevent that by just taking care of your hands and feet with salve or some lotion. And if you get injured, please talk to your guides. Even if it seems a little minor, like a minor thing, they're highly trained and they can help keep you comfortable and safe. We have first aid in camp, and we have first aid on the boats. So we have those things that are available to you at any time that you need. We've also asked you, if you are taking prescription medications, that you bring 2 sets, and that we encourage you to give 1 set to the guide in case you lose it. That way you have it for you for the duration of the trip. If your prescription medication needs to be refrigerated, give it to the guides and they can keep it cool. The night before your hike out, you will have a meeting with your trip leader. They will give you back your backpacks, you will empty your dry bags, and prepare for the hike out. In the morning, you'll wake up a little earlier than your fellow passengers who are staying on the full trip. You will make breakfast, and you'll also need to pack your trail lunch and have snacks. And you'll need to make sure that you have enough food for that hike out. We also ask you to consider to limit the amount of alcohol that you drink the night before. You don't want to start the hike out the Bright Angel Trail dehydrated. Your trip leader is also going to tell you about your hiking guide, and you'll need to make contact with that hiking guide who's coming down with a group that's replacing you. At that time, they can give you accurate information on the water situation on the Bright Angel Trail and remind you about where your luggage is and give you directions to the Maswick Hotel. Another thing that you need to think about is the gratuities, and you need to talk to the trip leader on how the gratuities work there at that time. All gratuities go to the trip leader. Thank you for choosing Arizona Raft Adventures. We hope you have an adventure of a lifetime.